bullet for my Valentine, self-titled. So, yeah. I wish I had more time to actually deep dive into the discography before this, because I didn't get to properly do that like I was hoping to, because, or at least, skip to the decent ones, because as far as I'm concerned, I've had a history with this band. I should have brought my albums to showcase that. For those who've already seen my review for their last record, Gravity, I didn't hate it. Hell, anyone who's seen the Rockin' with Robbie, I'm kind of in the same boat as him. I didn't hate this record, but I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. I obviously wasn't great, but I wouldn't say it's bad in the sense that some of these other guys said. Like, I get it that it was seemingly trend chasey, but still, I mean, when your worst album is one where you barely had any ideas, and like to the point of this form of a mixed grab bag to where every time you listen to that thing, one song you think you wind up kind of liking, you wind up hating again the next listen, and then the reverse effect with whether you hated a song and liked it. It's, yeah, fuck temper. But yeah, which is why Venom was a great follow-up to that, which is why I sort of understood they wanted to experiment a little bit, and somehow that was a foundational thing, which I feel like them saying that was a bad idea going into this one, but I already knew going into this one, it seems like they were kind of trying a little more, and trying to be more, at least return to form, but I wouldn't say it's that heavy given what I've been exposed to since. But I liked what we got from the first two tracks here, which were the great taste that we got. And the difference being is that from what snippets you've heard here, starting this video, apparently they did something different than what the single version does for Parasite, and that's that they do a radio thing that kind of showcases portions of their past into it. Like, this is their way of saying of what reminded them of the good times of it, and that we're trying to bring it back. At least in terms of their albums. I don't know about their live sets. I've heard otherwise with that, though. So, which makes me less enthusiastic to see them live, unfortunately. I didn't like the fact that I heard them try to play the second song on here, and it was just a fucking backing track, and it was the band just kind of pretending to play along like it was a music video. Yeah, that did not, yeah. Other than that, I still like what they've been putting out. When they put out something, most of the time, something aside from maybe your Temper or what happened with last album, it's usually solid at the very least. Even if their level of greatness and they've been squandered potential post Scream Aim Fire, even though I like Fever, unlike some people, but I get it, having had a chance to actually listen to those two albums in preparation for it. This one, yeah. Though weirdly, I don't hate this. Not only do I not hate this record, I feel like they did make a great return to form on their end. I don't know whether or not I can say that where I would put this, where I would want to rank this. I know for sure it's not a Temper or Gravity, and Knives was just, Knives is still fucking solid even on this album. My Reverie is surprisingly, despite, the term Reverie being used a lot in metalcore, apparently, this song is actually one of the highlights of this record. Honest. And No Happy Ever, and Just Great. It's pretty solid for what it is as well. can't escape the waves, which the way they're going about it, you can kind of tell they're trying to be triviums in waves. A little bit. And it's fine song. I don't have no problem with it either. I mean, it's not what In Waves is, especially for what you get from them live from Trivium. But anyways, though it's unfortunate that the song that followed that, luckily the songs afterwards are much better than this particular track. But even, and I could see people having the issues they've said they've been having, but I don't hate the song as much as everybody else, but I get it. It is kind of the weak link, the obvious weak link of the album that could hurt the album, but it doesn't for me. If anything, it does enough that I'm starting to consider whether or not if I want it to be higher than Fever or Venom yet. I need to listen to them to figure that out yet, but I can already tell you that I don't think I can say that this album is stronger. I mean, Bastards is, but Rainbow Veins makes up for it in terms of the woos, and there's nothing new, because they've done woos even in Poison. And that's actually one of the, Rainbow Veins is nice. Shatter's definitely one of the better tracks. Paralyzed is not bad, and honestly, I think they do a solid enough job trying to cap off this record with Death by 1,000 Cuts. I honestly do believe that. And Knives is still a pretty awesome song for what it is. It was a good way to show that they were how far they're willing to go in terms of heaviness, even though if they were trend chasing with this album, I would say that they're a little 10 years too late when it comes to deathcore, but I digress. At least in terms of that blah-blahness or whatever, but overall, I mean, it's definitely one of the other albums I would rather come back to from Bullet, but maybe not to the extent I would say of the Poison. I'm figuring out whether or not, I don't know if I could say that even about Screaming Fire up to a point, even though I think vocally it's seemingly better. At least since Fever up to a point, I think the vocals have come off better to me, production-wise, than Screaming Fire, which is like the only hindrance, because the band's sound is awesome, and you can tell they're trying to be more metal. And I don't mind the vocals on certain songs that they are meant to work for, like the title track with that record, but stuff like that. But with this one, it comes off more and feels similar to what I enjoyed about the vocal stuff of like the Poison. Or at least that's what it seemed to people felt about Fever and stuff. But yeah, overall, guys, I'm surprised to say I'm not too surprised, but I'm a little more surprised to say that I'm not too surprised that this album is at least better than those two albums, but I'm more surprised that I might be considering moving my tiers on the more favorable, decent, solid albums, and with this one, and that's the thing I'm trying to figure out. I can't say because of Bastards, I think that keeps this album from being potentially in the conversation it wants to have, in being up there almost close to the Screaming Fires and stuff. At least in terms of album output. I don't know, guys. But for now, I don't know if I can say that because of Bastards. Now, and I'm trying to figure out whether or not if I should put it somewhere between Fever and Venom, and whether or not I would pick listening to this over Fever or Venom, and picking Venom or Fever over this album. I don't know. All I know is it doesn't reinvent the wheel, and I wasn't expecting it to, especially with what Whitechapel put out earlier with Ken last week. Holy fuck. But yeah, overall, I want to put it, I kind of almost want to go this route, weirdly enough, with this record. But I think what keeps me from sort of at least doing this and just having to go this is kind of Bastards, but not really. Like, it's not as bad. I get that it seems like it's trying too hard to be that, but they already kind of have that a little bit with more. They do a better job of that kind of dealing with that kind of vocal style more in maybe Shatter and maybe Rainbow Veins. Do better jobs of dealing with those woes. Hell, I got better woes out of you want to battle Here's a War off of Venom, then I would say Bastards. I understand if it's a weak song, but not to the, maybe to the point of keeping it from being potentially even in the masterclass conversations that those first two albums had. Couldn't have, but not in this, but to say that it's not at least a solid outing, I mean, I'd say if you haven't heard Bullet in a while, I would still give this album a chance. Though I would suggest that you would have at the very least, not only listen to their first two to know what to kind of expect from Bullet. In a positive outlet, I would say you definitely probably do need to hear Fever and even Venom to kind of have a better basis with this, but definitely like stay away from like Temper, and I would rather listen to Gravity over Temper, by the way. That still hasn't changed. Because once again, some bands know how to take the supposedly Eaten by Imagine Dragons situation and still somehow come across better than Imagine Dragons. At least that's for me, but you know, it's a hot take as it is. But what did you guys think of the self-titled Bullet for My Valentine album? Do you think they've sort of made a slight comeback? I mean, the fact that the dude that was kind of acting like a bit of an elitist himself, decided to be kinder to this thing, made me actually kind of consider that I might wind up coming into this album and enjoying it for the most part. Heck, I think I do think it gets overpanned. I do think maybe Bastard's slightly overpanned, but I understand if it's like the weakest song on the record. But regardless, I do think this band made a solid outing. Enough outing, and I think if you did take away Bastards, I think you might actually have put this album in the conversation. I'm starting to think that, but I gotta double check on those other albums first before I can make that assessment. But I think all you really need to do is pull off Viral Rack's Microdacted with this album and just get rid of Bastards. That's all you need to do, and I think this album flows still pretty well. But yeah, overall, yeah. I think if you got rid of Bastards, I'd probably do this, honestly. At least an album output. I don't know. I can't still say about the live thing other than what I've already said in the video. But anyways, what did you guys think of it? Where would you potentially rank this album amongst their discography at the very least? Like, leave a comment, let me know about that if you need to. I'll let you know eventually about my thoughts on this as well. Also, link description below to my Facebook page, like and follow me there. Also, I guess, musician Ben Bateman and his thing. That's also mostly known as Schmodown competitor, former Movie Troops Schmodown singles belt holder for at least last year or so. But anyways, and his tour thing and his back surgery or whatever, which I think has gone over well, but if you still want to help out, do that as well. It's still there. But yeah, I like this album. I'm surprised how much I did, you know, even despite Bastards. But yeah, if you like this video, also rock that like button with Dress Even You Must, as well as hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell if you want more videos. And as always, guys, keep it random. Keep it random. Keep it real, and keep it rocking, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, y'all.